Okay, we should be live. We should be live. We should be live. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? On this fine Friday here in the UK, it's actually quite sunny. Um, Weekend is here, which is always good, you know. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk some boxing. We'll see what comes up in this little live stream, this little discussion. What is there this weekend, actually? It's a very good question. There's a top rank card, which is headlined by Edgar Berlanga versus Roma Angulo. That's actually quite a good test for Berlanga. Berlanga hasn't been looking good recently. And, Roma Angulo's a pretty big 168 pounder. He's fairly basic, but he carries power. He can crack a bit. So, given what type of fighter Berlanga is, who knows, man? Maybe he might have some more trouble in that fight. I quite like that fight, to be honest. I think it will be entertaining. You've got Daniel Dubois fighting for the WBA regular title in America. He is fighting Trevor Bryan. I'd imagine that Daniel Dubois gets rid of Trevor Bryan relatively easily. I don't rate Trevor Bryan whatsoever. Slow as molasses. Doesn't do anything particularly great. His jab's okay, but he's, like I say, he's slow as fuck. Defensively, very open. Just not impressive, in my opinion, Trevor Bryan. So I think Dubois wins that fight. And I think there's another card in the USA as well. I forget what it is, though. I forget what it is. What's the other card? I swear there's one more card in the USA. Big up to you, Alex. Salute. Game changed every single time. Freezing boxing, what's up? I'm good, man. I'm good, Freezing. I'm good. Chisora still boxing. He's probably going to have Parkinson's. More than likely, bro. Yeah, he's taken a lot of punishment. And honestly, I was kind of surprised by that fight announcement. Derek Chisora versus Kubrat Pulev 2. I mean, that doesn't really get my blood pumping, to put it mildly. Of course, that's a rematch. They first fought in 2016, May of 2016, I want to say. Now, there's a lot of revisionist history going on. First and foremost, that first fight was dull as fuck. There was a lot of clinching, a lot of mauling, a lot of holding. But secondly, although it says split decision on BoxRec, that was a clear Pulev win. It was just uneventful. So I don't see the point in... I mean, listen, maybe this time around it will be better, because both guys are faded. Both guys are past their best. That might make it a better fight. But I would have preferred the Kaunaki fight for Chisora. Like, from pure entertainment perspective. Just my opinion. I'm not... It doesn't excite me. It just doesn't excite me. Again, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe that fight will surprise me, but we'll see. Yeah, I saw Ben Shalom on Twitter, yeah. So he got exposed basically before an interview. He was telling the interviewer, whoever it was, don't talk about AJ, don't talk about Probellum. So we know what these interviewers, put up with to get interviews. They basically toe the line. We know that anyway. I mean, that was just a confirmation of it, but we knew that beforehand, right? So it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, look at the Bobby Basic interviewers and journalists in boxing. Most of these guys just toe the line. If they didn't, they wouldn't have a job. Boxing journalism is like the gutter of sports journalism. They can't make it anywhere else. That's why they're in boxing. Any cunt can get a camera and get a press event, get a press pass. It's not hard. I could do it. I don't fucking want to, though. But there you go. Yeah, that guy won't get another interview. Facts. Big up Phil McCracken, Berlanga Angulo. Yeah, good fight. Daniel Dubois' ramrod jab is going to do damage. Yeah, I think so as well. Trevor Bryan has a very loose, languid style, but he's slow with it. He's very slow, very open, and he's got a tendency to not turn up in shape as well. I've not seen the weigh-in, so I can't really see. I can't say what sort of shape he's in, but usually he turns up out of shape. I've got a close UD for Berlanga. He seems to always underperform, as we saw against Gutierrez and Rolls, but judges give him decisions. Yeah. See, I actually felt he beat Steve Rolls, but I felt there was an argument that he lost to Coceres. Who do I think Joe Joyce is fighting July 2nd? It will be one of those faded trial horses, Michael Van Gerwen. Don't be surprised if it's Marius Vac or somebody along those lines. I don't think you'll get much better than that. I really don't. Pulev to win on points is the easiest money you'll make. Jerry Forrest and Chisora are basically the same fighter. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But you have to consider both guys are so faded now. Anything can happen. So I'd leave that fight alone. Although I'd be interested to see who is the bookie's favourite there. Big up Del and the chat. Hope everybody is well. Yeah, Chisora versus Pulev is a real boner killer. Yeah, there was better fights out there for Chisora, Like I say, the Kaunaki fight I was perfectly fine with. In fact, I made a video about it. I was perfectly fine with that fight. And honestly, if they was going to do a rematch for Chisora, I would have preferred the Robert Helenius rematch because Helenius is coming off some good form. That'd be a decent fight. But Pulev? I don't know, man. It just seemed like, I don't know, throwing shit at a wall and hoping it will stick kind of thing. Angulo is sending Berlanga to hell. Log it. Who knows, man? He comes in fucking square, I'll tell you that much. Berlanga comes in square, follows guys around in straight lines, opens up with wide shots, and from my recollection, Roma Angulo has a pretty good overhand right, a pretty good straight right hand. So potentially Angulo could time him through the middle. Conor Benn looking at the winner of Ricky Hatton and Marco Antonio Barrera. Yeah, Berlanga's got a lot of work to do, Phil. No doubt about it. What if Sebastian Formea beats Chris Congo? Then Chris Congo is done at any real level. If he wants to do anything, he's got to win this fight. Yeah, Joseph Parker pulled out for his boxing, so they were supposed to fight in the summer. But what happened was Andy Lee, his trainer, is having a baby. His wife is having a baby, so they can't have a fight now. What bullshit, man. What bullshit. Apparently the fight is still going to happen, but later in the year. I heard a leak saying Mean Machine Kavalauskas is fighting Conor Benn. Don't be surprised if he loses. Well, I'll say this much right now. If that fight happens next, then I'm not criticising Conor Benn for that opponent. All I want Conor Benn to do is fight a live wire. And yeah, cool. Kavalauskas coming off a loss, but he's a live wire. He's a live wire. So yeah, I'm happy. I'd be happy with that. Looking forward to Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. Do you give Joe Smith any chance of winning? Of course, yeah, absolutely. I think with Joe Smith Jr., he always has the perennial puncher's chance. And Beterbiev can be hit. As people point out, he has been dropped. So, it's possible. Absolutely, it's possible. You can never really rule out Joe Smith at light heavyweight. But I would still favour Beterbiev. I need to make a prediction video for that fight. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, it's a good fight, man. That's a barn burner, bro. That's a barn burner. Got a lot of respect for both guys. Pulev is a 1-2 favourite. Chisora has 2 rounds in him. Pulev will keep it one-paced with his ramrod jab and maybe his left uppercut. Yeah, I can see that fight being dull. Yeah, Phil McCracken, that's a decent fight. Adam Kaunaki versus Ali Eren Demirezen. Yeah, Demirezen's coming off a win over, what's that dude's name? Gerald Washington. Yeah, that's a decent fight stylistically. Yeah, Joe Parker's returned to New Zealand and the meth importation business is his main focus now. Yeah, big up to Breaking Bad Joe. Big up to Breaking Bad Joe, man. That guy's out here hustling. One sec. Right, where were we? Score on Brian Angulo double this weekend. I think you're throwing your money away, bro. Angulo's got a chance, but I don't think Trevor Bryan has. Oh yeah, Munguia is fighting as well. He's fighting tomorrow, Munguia. He's fighting Jimmy Kilrain, whatever his fucking name is, or Jimmy Kelly. And yeah, that's on the zone on Saturday. And also, there's another the zone card tonight. It's Kayaguchi versus Bermudez, which is a good fight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Phil McCracken. Yeah, Kayaguchi versus Bermudez. Yeah, that's a good fight because Bermudez recently upset Canizales. So yeah, that's a good fight. Feed Joe Parker to a juiced up to the gills Lucas Brown. Bro, man, I couldn't believe it, man. Lucas Brown just turning back the clock. Maybe he's back on that rocket fuel, that fucking those PEDs. Who's fighting tomorrow, Albanian boxer in the UFC? I didn't even know there was a UFC card tomorrow. Oh, hang on, it's that Polish dude. That Polish dude, yeah, he's fighting Glover. I know what you're talking about. Pulev's fought more aggressively as of late, yeah. I mean, I was actually listen. Pulev's not what he was, and he's not any real threat at the top of a heavyweight division. But he dealt with Jerry Forrest quite well. And Jerry Forrest, as we know, if you're not at a certain level, he'll expose you, as he did with Zili Zhang, and even against Michael Hunter. So Pulev beat him easily. Yeah, exactly. I'm not touching that fight, Mike. I don't like touching those sort of fights where the guys are like that past their best because anything can happen. I see Joe Smith scoring a knockdown in the first few rounds, but Beterbiev will come back and knock him out within eight. Yeah, I like watching Munguia fight, Trist, but like he's got to be doing better. He's got to be doing better. I mean, Jimmy Kelly is an awful opponent. Demarizen could actually beat Kaunaki, I agree. Both guys are shorter heavyweights. Both guys like to come forwards. That'll be a good fight. Neither guy is exactly the most skilled. I won a few quid on Brown fight. Always been a fan and always will be a fan. Fair play, man. Listen, you got some good odds on there. Big up to Joe. Salute. Lucas Brown is funded by a multi-millionaire energy drink founder. I think he's been on the magic juice. Fair play to him, man. I mean, if you can't beat him, join him. Listen, bro, if that fight happens, I will be pleasantly surprised. I will be pleasantly surprised. But I can't see it. I can't see it. Eubank traditionally has always struggled with southpaws, and against a guy like Janibek, who is really good at judging distance, who's very accurate, who's a really good counterpuncher, I think he is all wrong for Chris Eubank Jr. I really do. Not that Chris Eubank Jr. can't give him some hard rounds, but I just think stylistically that's a terrible fight for Eubank. But if he takes that fight, fair play to the guy. Fair play to him. Because I mean, as of right now, people are not exactly queuing up to fight Janibek. So yeah, I mean, if he wants to fight for a world title, maybe that's the fight to make, right? Because I think Andrade is going to eventually vacate that belt. Janibek is the interim, so yeah, exactly. Smash that like. Smash that like. Johnny Fisher versus Kamil Sakalowski is perfectly acceptable. That was crazy when Pulev destroyed Frank Mir. Yeah, the ref took ages though, bro. It's crazy. Random fight on June 25th. Elwin Soto and Heki Budler. I fancy Budler to win that one. I don't know, Heki's been around a long fucking time now. He's been around a long time now. I remember him fighting like 10 years ago. I swear he was on like the Golovkin undercard in Monaco. He's been around a long fucking time. A long time. So he might lose that fight, I'm going to go Soto. I have to confess, though, I haven't seen Budler fight in a long time. Big Up Dell wasn't going to crack a beer, but I need to now. Facts. Listen, I got a few in the fridge. I only got 4 tonight. I'm not going to go over the top and go silly. But yeah, I got a few in the fridge. Chilling, getting a bit colder. You know how it is. My friend put Lucas Brown to win by KO 16-1. Drunk out of his mind. Funniest night. Fair play, bro. That's a good little learner. Take what you can get these days, man. What advice would you give Usyk and AJ for their fight? I mean, with Usyk, I guess it's like build on what he did last time. I mean, we know he's the superior boxer. How he got his lead foot positioning on AJ and kind of tuned him up. We know what Usyk does, man. He's not really got to change anything up, to be honest. As for AJ, I mean, AJ's got to be a lot more aggressive. I know that sounds easy to say, and that's the consensus, but he has to be a lot more aggressive. He has to be a lot more physical against Alexander Usyk, because in that first fight, I don't think Usyk ever got that sense that he was fighting a bigger man, a bigger, stronger man. I don't think he ever got that sensation. And AJ needs to try to infuse that into Usyk's mind, that you're fighting a different AJ, a more aggressive AJ, and I'm going to use my height and reach and strength to get on top of you. Obviously, that comes with its own risks. Usyk's a great counter puncher, and Joshua, he could easily walk onto something, but I think this is a fight where AJ is going to have to take risks that he wasn't willing to take for whatever reason in that first fight. I fancy them a reason to beat Kalnaki. I think that's that could be a good bet, Phil, depending on the odds. Because I've got a feeling Kalnaki might be favourite there. I'll big up to Trist, by the way. Have a great weekend, great channel. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Big up to yourself for the contribution, and same goes to you as well, obviously. Have a great weekend, bro. It's been a long one for me. It seemed that way anyway this week. It's been a long one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, bro. I'm looking forward to it. I say that I've still got fucking work to do, but it is what it is, But big up to Trist. Salute. Freezing Boxing. De La Hoya saying he wants Munguia versus Charlo, but says Al Heyman won't let it happen. Sounds like some BS to me. He hasn't fought a ranked opponent since Rosado last year. Yeah. I think with both of those guys, both Charlo and Munguia, it's kind of hard to trust either guy right now. Neither guy's doing shit. I mean, Munguia turned down Andrade. He turned down Janebek, I believe. So why would I believe his side of the story? But the same goes for Charlo. He's turned down Andrade. He's turned down certain fights. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a shame because that's a really good fight. If Ty and Booth beat Chris Eubank Jr., he could have been hanging out with Dan Bilzerian, yeah. Bilzerian, however you say his name, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Joe. Yeah, if Eubank takes the fight, I'll be jumping for joy. The odds on Janebek will be half decent. No one in this country has a clue, and some people are still really high on Eubank Jr. somehow. Yeah, exactly. Pulev is busy smashing ring girls and reporters. Yeah, Pulev is a top G, no doubt about it. No fucks given. Del, be honest. Do you rate Ellie Sek back as a reporter? Dude is a straight wanker. Glad Tyson Fury called him out to his face and kicked him out of his media day years ago. I agree. Yeah, the guy's a complete clown. Ellie Sek back. I mean, he's slimy. Just extremely slimy. I wouldn't trust that guy as far as I could throw him. Something off with that guy. Something really off with him. I wouldn't like to see in his closet. I'm fucking tight. Yeah, Asian boxing is going hard right now. Inoue this past Tuesday done the job on Donaire. I picked Inoue to win, and I thought he would stop Donaire, but later on, I didn't expect it to be so early. And I actually felt Donaire looked quite good in like the first minute of that round, until he got caught at the end. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think Jimmy Kelly's even worse, bro. Have Ring put I think Inouye's number 2 right now, maybe. I think Inouye's number 2. I'm pretty sure Usyk's number 1 in the ring ratings. But honestly, I don't really care about these pound for pound lists. I really don't care. I really don't care. You know? Ask Arthur, big up to Ask Arthur. All right, Del. It's Lack74 on my dad's phone. You good? I'm great, bro. I'm Gucci. I'm really, really good. Really, really good. The weekend's here. And big up again to Trist, by the way, for the contribution. Oscar De La Coca. Yeah, Oscar's out of his fucking mind. Oscar's out of his mind. Out of his fucking tree. Kaunaki will be the favourite. Demareason is underrated, yeah. Yeah, Demareason gave Efe Ajagba a hard fight as well a few years ago. Yeah, Kubrat Pulev, man, there's no fucks given with that guy. There's no fucks given. And I find him quite entertaining to listen to when he talks English, you know, when he's interviewed. Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. I'd say Lomachenko is more skilled than Inoue in like a pound for pound sense, yeah. But again, it's apples and oranges. It's, you know, you can't really truly compare, can you? Yeah, I do. Yeah, that was after Canelo popped for that second fight, and they was looking for a replacement. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, I recall that. Yeah, yeah, I couldn't believe that Mr. Relax when he got knocked out, Junior Farr. And to be honest, the ref could have. Well, the ref probably should have stopped it after the first knockdown because he was fucked. Yeah, Ellie is such a suck up. Yet he hates on Fury. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how the guy goes about getting interviews as well. Yeah, like you're right. He just completely sucks up to people and spouts absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I like IFL. I do like Umava. I'm not going to lie. I do quite like him. Yeah, exactly. Those sort of takes, you know, are not worth. They're not even worth discussing, are they? Oh, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, the chicken dance was great. Yeah, against Costa Zoo. Yeah, and the good thing about Inoue as well, like you know what you're going to get. Like you're always going to get something entertaining. If he's fighting a guy who's overmatched, he's going to destroy them. And if he's fighting a guy who offers resistance, it's going to be a good fight. I mean, I've never watched an Inoue fight and felt shortchanged in terms of like entertainment. Even when he's fighting lesser competition, he gets rid of them. Big up to True Crime with G-Man, and also salute to G-Man Boxing as well. Two great channels. And check them out. Absolutely check him out. People saying Farr was hit on the back of the head, and that should have been a DQ. The shot did land on the back of the head, but it wasn't Brown's fault because Farr was ducking down into the shot. Yeah, that's one thing people don't take into account with those sort of knockdowns. I've seen that a lot. Golovkin Derevyanchenko was a good example of that knockdown when kind of Derevyanchenko ducked down. I mean, what's Golovkin supposed to do? Not punch, you know? Derevyanchenko put himself in harm's way, much like Junior Farr did. It's different, like getting in a clinch and then rabbit punching somebody on the head. That's deliberate. But if you're punching and the guy's ducking, and you happen to hit him on the back of the head, what can you do? Yeah, we were saying that earlier, Tensors D. We were saying that earlier. Yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think we already knew that anyway when it comes to these interviewers, when it comes to interviewing fighters or promoters, that these guys have to toe the line, you know? So that was just a mere confirmation of what we already knew. So it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me. Yeah, exactly. No questions about DAZN, AJ, Hearn, Probellum, etc. Yeah, it didn't surprise me. Yeah, exactly. Albanian boxer. I saw that. Yeah, Kubrat Pulev always comes across as an antagonistic cunt, but in a funny way, unlike Dillian. I think Pulev is one of those guys who's pretty cool. You could have banter with him, but if you went past that certain line, then he'd probably kick off. You wouldn't want to push him too far. He's one of those guys. Yes, smash the like, and by the way, check out Mad Chad, great channel. Salute to Mad Chad every single time. Yeah, I mean, when you see like ESPN, Sky Sports, and these sort of broadcasters put out pound for pound lists, they are slanted with bias. And usually, when you see uploaders do pound for pound lists, it's usually just a list of their favorite fighters. Let's be honest about it. I mean, I've never really got the obsession with like pound for pound lists. I'll be honest. Do you know what I mean? It's fun. Don't It's fun to discuss, but like people get so caught up in it, like it means anything. It doesn't. It's just one man's opinion. You know, there are some scientific breakdowns on certain lists. They'll come up with a formula, etc. But I mean, come on, man. It's like with Devin Haney and Dimitri Bivol are two good examples for me. Like to me, those guys are not top 10 pound for pound. So let's talk about Bivol. He's coming off the biggest win of his career against Canelo Alvarez. Now, on paper, that's a great win, and it was a great win. Don't get me wrong, but Bivol was a significantly bigger man. Is that really the true definition of pound for pound? Devin Haney was significantly bigger than George Kambosos. Is that pound for pound? Whereas someone like Usyk, for example, he did what he did at cruiserweight in difficult circumstances, fighting away, etc., that sort of thing. And at heavyweight, he gave up size, he gave up weight, and he beat guys. He beat the unified heavyweight champion with a size disadvantage. That's pound for pound. Usyk's skills translates size. Usyk's skills can overcome a bigger man. That's pound for pound to me. That's how I see it. But like, I don't see in what world you can put Bivol or thingamajiggy Haney top 10 pound for pound. I said the same for Josh Taylor. I mean the arguments there for Josh Taylor. Like before the Catterall fight, one thing about Josh Taylor was at 140 he utilized size to a big degree. Without that size, how effective is his skill set? We'll find that out. We'll find that out at welterweight. But if he's pound for pound, like people like saying, then Josh Taylor he'll do fine at welterweight. But if he's not pound for pound, he's gonna fucking struggle. Cody Crowley's interesting. Jay's boxing universe. He's interesting. I mean, while Jaron Ennis is waiting, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. I think that's a good fight for Ennis. But he's decent. He's solid. He's respectable. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, he was trying to punch on the ground. Yeah, when he was on the floor. I'd say Congo by decision as well. Yeah, I mean, Formea looks pretty tough. Gone the distance with Conor Benn and Sean Porter. He's tough. I had my money on Fire points and Inoue points. Safe to say that was a massive waste of money. Yeah. Yes, a Disturbed Reality. That's the other channel. Can't see half the comments. What the fuck is YouTube playing at? Yeah, YouTube Ibuki, bro. YouTube Ibuki, man. Oh, fuck's sake. Hang on. Yeah. Oh, I'm not surprised, bro. I'm not surprised. Offering a $1 million reward for anybody who can give me some insight as to what happened to Boxing Gossip. Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, this is what I heard. Like he had a real like professional job and he was doing well. And I guess he just wanted to take himself off the internet. That's kind of what I heard. And he was going to boxing events and he was getting recognized, that sort of thing. So I think that's why he stopped uploading. I think that's what I've been told. How true that is, I don't know. Because if Boxing Gossip stuck around, he would have a shit ton of subs. I still need to check him out, bro. I'm deep into Based Boxing Basement at the minute. That guy's fucking hilarious. That guy's fucking hilarious, man. And he actually knows his shit as well. Like beyond the comedy aspect, he knows his shit. Freezing Boxing, he's a fan of Cody Crowley. I like Cody Crowley, man. He seems like a good dude as well. And he's a big welterweight. He's big. He's a strong dude. Yeah, but still, man, he was hot, taller, longer. To me, I don't know, man. To me, that's not enough. Maybe again, though, I've not done a pound for pound list like that, so what the fuck do I know? Yeah, exactly. Well, all the yeah, that's true. All the Beterbiev Joe Smith winner. Yeah, big up to MMA. Salute to MMA. None of the top guys in boxing are winning as emphatically as Inoue right now. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Inoue is taking care of these dudes, man. Like getting rid of them. Yeah. Del, what boxer would you love to have a good chat about boxing with at the pub? For me, I'd like to talk to Sergio Martinez. Met him when I was a young teen and would love to shoot the shit with him. Yeah, I always liked Sergio Martinez. He was probably my favorite fighter between 2011 and 2013, or 2010 and 2013. I'd say he was my favorite fighter. But if I could talk to anybody in boxing and have a discussion with them, who do I find interesting? Who do I find interesting? That's a good fucking question. I'd like to talk to like current Mike Tyson. I would like to talk to current Mike Tyson. After a few joints, that'd be interesting. Yeah, he was a great channel, was he? Great channel. Big up to Vorlock, salute. Oh my god, yeah. Can we talk about this? I've been going in on Conor Benn for ducking David Avanesian, as which is right to do in my opinion. But now the pendulum swings the other way. Sounds like David Avanesian shat the bed and ducked Virgil Ortiz. I mean, what's all that about? Because Eddie Hearn was saying, and again, I don't trust Eddie Hearn all that much, but he was saying a couple of weeks ago that he heard that Avanesian turned that fight down with Virgil Ortiz. And here we are a week or so later, it turns out to be true. So why the fuck is Avanesian turning down that fight? I mean, what other options does he have right now? He's fighting on small shows against nondescript, unknown European dudes. Where is the better option? That is poor form. You can't be talking like you were talking about Conor Benn and then pulling that sort of stunt. Makes you look a bit weak. So, I like Avanesian. I like how he's kind of rebuilt his career, but that is a bad look, and he needs to be called on it. That is a bad look. But big up to Vorlock. Salute. Brian weighed in at 259. Not a great weight for him. Well, there you go. We were saying this earlier, Matt, about Trevor Bryan. I don't rate the guy at all. And that was one of the reasons. The guy never looks in shape. Never looks in shape. Mark Magsayo versus Mark Magsayo. You mean Ray Vargas? Yeah, that's a good fight. That is a good fight. Listen, Magsayo's win over Gary Russell Jr., that is a really good win, don't get me wrong. But I'm not all that high on Mark Magsayo. But having said that, Ray Vargas, he's had injuries, he had a motorcycle crash, been out a long time. But I think stylistically, Ray Vargas is long, he likes to move. He's not got a Mexican quote-unquote style. Very awkward, very, very, I would say, a bit negative at times. And I could see him giving Magsayo some real trouble, but maybe Magsayo's pressure and his work rate gets to him. To me, that's a hard fight to call. Especially considering it's hard to know where Vargas is at. I'd have to really think about that fight. I'd lean towards Magsayo in the closest way. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Boxing Gossip was very professional. I met Roy Jones before he came down to train Eubank. Man, he's tall. Is he tall? I don't think Roy Jones is that tall. What's he, like 6 foot, maybe? But yeah, I'd probably lean towards Magsayo. Ortiz is a killer. I think he beats Boots, to be honest. Unpopular opinion, I know. I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm excited about both guys. Virgil Ortiz he is more battle tested. He has fought better competition. But, I mean, That's not to say that he'll necessarily win that fight if they do fight. I mean, I think that's a really hard fight to call. I still want to see, I do still want to see Ennis go a few rounds and get tagged up a little bit, see how he responds. But, Ennis is Virgil Ortiz is more technically put together. I think he's got, he maintains a better shape. I think his jab is better. I think fundamentally he is better in a lot of ways. But Ennis is very athletically gifted. He's very quick. His jab isn't bad. His jab himself isn't bad, and he's got real power. So that's a hard fight to call. President King Slimby, salute. I'm good, brother. I'm good. It's the weekend, man. Billy Joe Saunders looks like he'll be back at the end of the year. Who do you think he'll fight? I'd love to see him back at 160. Andrade's a great matchup. If Golovkin loses to Canelo, maybe Golovkin next year. I mean, I'll be real, bro. I've not really got an interest in Billy Joe coming back. I lost interest in that guy's career a long time ago. But if he were to come back, I quite like the John Ryder rematch. I like the John Ryder rematch, personally. Bridgerweight, yeah, that's it. Vargas will school and frustrate Magsayo, yeah. I could see one of those really dull, uninspiring fights where people argue it could go either way. Not quite Riggin Diao Casemiro level, but like that, that sort of boring fight, Yeah, I think Virgil's got way too much for Conor, man. I said the exact same thing, bro, Randy Orton. I mean, when they announced that rematch, I was very surprised. They thought first time around it was what, 2016, May 2016. First fight was very uninspiring, boring, a lot of holding, a lot of mauling. And despite it being a split decision, Pulev clearly won that fight, by the way. He clearly won that fight. Wasn't all that close, in my opinion. And yeah, a rematch just doesn't get my blood pumping. I mean, maybe both guys are like significantly past their best now to where it's a different fight and it's a better fight. That is possible, but right now I'm not excited. Ability-wise, Dubois looks good. Not to sound like a dick, but I worry about Daniel Dubois' mentality. Seems to be fully on the spectrum, and I don't think we can rely on him in deep waters. Seems infantile. Yeah, I agree. I said this previously, like, I said it, I think, maybe just before or just after the Joe Joyce fight. He seems like he's got that, when, like, a child is, like, they're kind of groomed by, like, their father, for example, to do a certain thing, a certain discipline, a certain sport, and they're so ingrained in that sport or that, whatever it may be, they're so ingrained in that they miss out on certain social development because they're always concentrating on that one thing. Daniel Dubois strikes me as one of those sort of guys. I think he's probably, and his dad was very, very hard on him growing up. That's what I've heard anyway, very, very insistent on him being a boxer. So I wonder whether that has something to do with it. But he seems like a nice kid, Daniel Dubois, doesn't he? He seems like a nice kid, so yes, nice one, bro. You're on the rum. You're a brave man, bro. You're a brave man. I used to really like rum, I used to really like rum, but now I've got to really be in the mood for it. The only hard alcohol I like is vodka, I'll be honest. I like to get my Sergey Kovalev on, and drive for a fucking wall after like 10 shots. That's my style. What do you think of Inoue potentially stepping up and fighting Akhmadaliev or Stephen Fulton? I like both fights, bro. Give them to me. No complaints here. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I liked Wingy as well. The guy was a nice dude. Like, I don't get why he got so much hate, to be honest. I mean, the Lara fight was close. I wouldn't call that a robbery. I mean, if you argued Lara by a point, wouldn't complain. Canelo by a point, wouldn't complain. And I feel similar about the Derevyanchenko fight. I had Golovkin winning by a point because of a knockdown, but one of those fights, man. There's rumors that, big up to BDA, by the way, check out his channel. Really good shit, man. Really, really good shit. There's rumors that Crawford Spence is being worked on. At this point, it's hard to know if it's BS. Do you even care at this point? Do you know what? Weirdly, I've not cared about that fight for a long, 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 long time now. Um, just my intuition told me it wasn't happening for a long time. But after Spence versus Ugas, I've got a gut feeling it's going to happen next. And yeah, I'm as excited for that fight now as I've ever been. I'll say that much. I am. That fight. If that fight were to get made, I mean, I'll be fucking stoked. I'd be stoked. I want it to happen. I'll be supporting Errol Spence. I'm not going to make no bones about that. I prefer watching Spence fight. But yeah, I think stylistically that'll be great, man. So hopefully it gets made. Yeah, I'm excited by it. Absolutely. But if you asked me that a year or so ago, I'd say no. But I do really think it's going to happen next. It's on Twitter, Alex. It's on Twitter. Stephen Fulton hype train. Butler shits himself and Inoue moves up. Yeah, I mean, we were saying that BDA was discussing this on his show about Inoue's next move. I mean, the way I see it is if he can get Butler next, make the fight and get undisputed. It's a good accolade, right? But don't wait around waiting for Paul Butler. He's not worth it. Yes, it makes you undisputed, but who the fuck is Paul Butler at the end of the day, you know? Whereas Akhmadaliev or Fulton are really intriguing fights in which you'll get more credit for if he wins. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. If you can get undisputed, go for it. If not, move up. But I wouldn't say Stephen Fulton is a hype train. I felt he lost the Figueroa fight, but you know, he is fighting top competition back to back, so I think he's a good fighter, Stephen Fulton. See, I'll be a lot more forgiving when it's a guy like Fulton who is fighting real good competition back to back to back. I'll be a lot more forgiving if you get a fortunate decision in there. It's not like he fought Figueroa, then fought two bums in a row. No, he went straight to a tough Mando in Daniel Roman, so that's cool. Yeah, I'd take Inoue over both as of right now. Yeah, that fight was a fucking eyesore, and I've seen some fucked up shit, bro. But that fight was a fucking eyesore. AJ Usyk 2, 22nd of August. Yeah, I heard that as well. Yeah, I preferred the Kaunaki Chisora fight. I think that Pulev Chisora fight goes for distance again. Remember when Marku stuck it on Ben? Yeah. Yeah, Dubois is autistic as fuck. Yeah, maybe he is, man. But he seems like a nice kid, doesn't he? I feel bad for like insulting Dubois. Like the guy, he's a nice kid. And he is a good fighter. I think he's got talent. I think he's got potential. He does certain things really well. Like I do really like his jab, that ramrod jab. And it's funny because Lawrence Okole, he was, I think it was Lawrence Okole. He said in a recent interview, and bear in mind he sparred Dubois, he sparred AJ, etc., Tyson Fury, and he said that Dubois is the hardest puncher he's ever been in the ring with, which is interesting to me. That's interesting. Yeah, I can't really count on Billy Joe anymore, bro. I'm not even looking forward to him coming back. Got no interest whatsoever. I think it will be more of an issue moving forward. Reckon he's more like Chris Benoit than Lennox Lewis. Jesus Christ, I won't go that far, man. Yep, we did. Yep, we read Mice and Men, and we had to write an essay about it as well. We had to write an essay about it. I remember that film and the book as well. Yeah, not one of my favorites. Not so far, man. We're just shooting the shit. Dubois got that Green Mile vibe. Feel sorry for Dubois. Both seems like they're socially awkward to say the least. as well as having domineering dads who put them through hard training all of their lives. Yeah, facts. Yeah, BDA are great, man. I like BDA because it's obviously there's very knowledgeable people on the panel who really know their shit. People who have been watching boxing for many years, many more years than me, and that's great. You know, I want to obviously I want to learn some new things about boxing and things of that nature. But you know, it's not just about that. It's about the pure entertainment factor as well. It's about being entertained, and the interactions on that show sometimes are cringe, sometimes are fucking hilarious. Like there's a whole mixture on that show, which is why I like it. It's a really good setup they've got. It's a really good setup. You know, certain callers knock it out of the park, and certain callers just they'll make you want to scratch you, pull your ears out. Yeah, exactly. It was a close fight. It was a close fight. Exactly. Yeah, I think if Paul Butler fights a Niue, his fucking life insurance should be fucking cancelled. Honestly, I'd refuse to fucking pay out. Yeah, he's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. And I've not really heard anybody hype Stephen Fulton. A couple of people, don't get me wrong, but I've not really heard anybody hype him per se. Chris Colbert got more hype than Stephen Fulton. Now, Chris Colbert, he was a fucking hype job. A lot of people will disagree, but I think Spence Crawford happening now is the best time for it to happen. 4 years ago, we still didn't know who the best was. Those two have now cleared out the division. Yeah, exactly. And we know that Spence now has, after that Ugas performance, we know that Spence is still at a good level. I think that question was in the air after that long layoff, the car crash, etc. But we know Spence is at a good level as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect right now. It's probably as big as it's ever been. Akhmadaliev is a very tough fight for Inoue for me. I agree, bro. I agree. I mean, Akhmadaliev he'd be the bigger man, of course. He's a hard puncher himself. At times, he's very unorthodox in his approach. He'll attack at weird angles, that sort of thing. But he is very open at the same time. He does leave gaps. He does leave gaps. So I can see that fight being a bit of a shootout early on, and somebody gets clipped early on. I believe that to be MJ. And you guys know how high I am on MJ. I was talking about this guy before the Danny Roman fight. I think he's a very good fighter. But again, MJ versus Fulton is another fight I love. I think that's genuine 50-50. I think that goes one of two ways. Either Fulton gets knocked out or Fulton wins on points. If Inoue becomes undisputed, then the winner of Fulton MJ is that the legacy fight. As brilliant as he was, I feel featherweight is too much. As he is, sorry, I feel featherweight is too much. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Yeah, I think super bantamweight is achievable for Inoue. I do, and I noticed that as well in that Donaire fight. If you look at the first Donaire fight compared to the second, Inoue definitely got bigger. He definitely put a bit of weight on. He looked thicker to me. The size difference wasn't quite as much. As we know, Donaire is a huge bantamweight, and in the first fight it showed, but not so much in the second fight. Inoue looked a lot bigger, so yeah, I think Inoue can step up to super bantam. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, Dubois. Yeah, you need to get Dubois. You need to have an intervention and take him out on a weekend, get him laid. You know, take him to a fucking brothel, get him laid, get him hammered. You know. Yeah, there's that as well. Maybe Dubois is just very stoic, chill, etc. Good to see some more gentlemen in boxing. Yeah, I think it's just it's more so. Look, it's not necessarily even what he says; it's how he says it and his mannerisms. It just gives you that vibe that he's there's something. I don't want to say not quite right, but you know what I'm trying to say. I think Fabio Wardley's underrated overrated as well. Yeah, I agree. I think he gets stopped by any half decent boxer at heavyweight. Rem, do I sound like the type of guy to drink wine? Don't answer that. I don't like wine at all. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of wine. Yeah, no. Well, Chris Colbert was training for the whole time. He was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Roger Gutierrez, and yeah, both guys were on 2 days' notice. But he still had a full training camp. Paul Butler could be the typical UK guy who could KO a Inoue. Well, we are famous for these unpopular dudes who get results. Look at Cordina. It's never going to happen, bro. It's never going to happen. Like, listen, Cordina surprised me in how he won that fight. If he won that fight on points, it wouldn't have surprised me. But the way he won it definitely did. But I mean, Cordina does have a little bit of power, whereas fucking Paul Butler has none. Yeah, I mean, I think Daenerys should retire now. Daenerys had a great career. He's always fought the best. The only thing I didn't like about Daenerys' career was the whole Casemiro situation, but I can't hold that against him. I mean, aside from that, the guy has gone through multiple divisions, fought great fighters. I mean, he's gone to divisions in which he should not be competing at. Let's be real. So the guy's a certified first ballot Hall of Famer. Oh yeah, Yanibek Alimkhanuly, the southpaw counterpuncher from Kazakhstan. Yeah, got ordered to fight Eubank Jr. Yeah, that's a hard fight stylistically for Eubank Jr. I'll be very surprised if he takes it. We were saying that earlier. I think Yanibek is all wrong for Eubank Jr. I really do. Like a southpaw counterpuncher who can be aggressive but can keep his distance, who can time you. I mean, we know how wild Eubank gets. I think that's a bad fight for him. I really do. Inoue versus Verigan Diao, who beat Daenerys. I think Inoue gets to him. I think Inoue loses the early rounds and gets to him. I don't think Inoue once he. I think at some point he would hurt Rigan Diao, and I don't think he lets him off a hook. I really don't. Yeah, Steve Robinson is a fucking exactly a straight to DVD version of David Price. But he's a student film version of David Price, like a shitty student film version. Facts. Yeah, I can see them feeding him to Wardley or Alan Babbage, somebody along those lines. Thank you, Lewis, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Yeah, it's going all right at the minute. It ain't going too badly, which is always good to see. It's always good to see. Big up to Duck. Salute, Duck. Hopefully you're keeping well, bro. Junior Far's career is in the mud. Yeah, I mean, if you get knocked out in a round by Lucas Brown in 2022, then you got to really look at yourself, haven't you? Not just in terms of boxing, but in terms of life. Can you imagine? I could not. I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. I couldn't get over it. I don't think I could get over it. Early KO doesn't tell us much about Cordina, other than that maybe we underrated his power. Agawa won round one, in my opinion. Laugh out loud. Yeah. One thing about Cordina's power, though, maybe early on in his career, it didn't necessarily show because I know the guy's had a lot of hand injuries. So maybe it was that. But I was saying this on the last stream. I think it was Cordina's a weird one because a lot of people in the UK trade, like the boxing trade in the UK, I'm talking about like trainers and other fighters. A lot of people will say how good Joe Cordina is, how good he looks in the gym, how skilled he is. But I'd never seen it in the ring per se, as a pro. And that was really the first glimpse of anything special that I've seen from him. So I'll be interested going forwards in Joe Cordina. Maybe he just wasn't up for those early fights. Who knows? He batters Eubank Jr. Yeah, absolutely. I think he does. The version of Tio from the Loma fight versus Shakur, how does that fight go? I think Shakur edges it. Oh, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. I think Shakur will be a bit more active than Tio, but can Shakur take that sort of power if he gets caught? I don't know about that fight. I'd like to see Shakur at 135 first. I'll be honest with you. Pick up to O'Hara Davis, man. Javier Martinez, yeah, Janabek is the boogeyman at 160. Absolutely, he is. Absolutely. Which of the Cubans turning pro do you see doing the best? Big question, but how do you think the Cubans in general will transition? I think Andy Cruz is the guy who I've got my eye on. I know he's not officially turned pro yet, but he's planning to. I think Andy Cruz is the most versatile, most well-rounded guy out of the bunch. I will say this right now, though. Julio Cesar La Cruz, I don't think he's going to amount to much, I'll be honest. I think in the pros he'll struggle. I really do. But I would say, I know it's a boring answer, but Andy Cruz. I can't see anybody who's got more potential than him. Out of the Cubans. Janabek has crazy power and is smart with it. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's timing as well. It's not just power. How accurate and how good he is at timing you. And as we know, as I said earlier, Eubank Jr. makes so many mistakes, like in terms of like throwing out of range, swinging himself off balance, that sort of thing. Against a guy like Janabek, that is a recipe for disaster. Haney beats Kambosos, and apparently he easily beats Lomachenko now. Yeah, that is. I expected all of this, Duck. I mean, I was very consistent long before the Haney fight was even signed. I was saying time ago that the the Tio fight was a big mirage. I still believe, and I believe that Tio wasn't himself that night. I really believe that, and I think that flattered Kambosos. Now, I will say, Kambosos was a much better fighter than I gave him credit for going into that fight. But the way people were talking about Kambosos after that fight, I mean, I'm watching the next fucking Roberto Duran. Couldn't believe it. Oh, Kambosos is going to apply too much pressure for Devin Haney. He hits too hard. What Kambosos have you seen? I couldn't believe it. The guy's never been a pressure fighter. He is a somewhat aggressive mid-range counter puncher. That's what he is. And he's not a big puncher either, People get gassed, though, off one fight. It is what it is. I always said stylistically Haney wins that fight comfortably. I just couldn't see what people were seeing on that occasion. I really couldn't. But on the flip side, I've done the same thing. I've picked certain fights where people probably say, what the fuck are you looking at? So it is what it is. I'd love that fight, bro. I would love that fight, Ozzy. Loma versus Tank, Loma versus Haney, Haney versus Tank, Haney, Garcia, Loma. All of these fights need to happen, bro. Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah. So how good is Cordina? I guess time will tell. I saw Dave Allen was posting videos on social media begging to be picked up by any promoter to fight anyone at any notice. Seems to be broke. He won't be happy until he has somebody wiping his ass. Yeah. Well, apparently he bought loads of houses, so I mean he can't be that hard up. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he spunked his money. I don't know. I've been watching Janabek since about he turned pro. He was never known as a puncher. Actually, he was considered a bit pillow-fisted. The power is something new. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I've said this on the channel, bro. When Janabek turned pro, because like you, I was kind of interested because he beat Anthony Fowler, which was always great, but because he beat Fowler in the Olympics. And I watched him turn pro. And I'll be honest, bro, early on, his first sort of 3 or 4 fights, I wasn't that impressed. I wasn't really expecting much. But, he's found his style. He's found his standing in the pro game, and he's really developing now. He's getting better and better. So, yeah, I mean, the guy surprised me. Yeah, Rakhimov is interesting. That Rakhimov-Jojo Diaz fight was a really good fight, man, as well. That was a really good fight. I actually had that fight a draw as well. I had that fight a draw. I think that was the right result. That was a really good fight, though. Yeah, Rakhimov can fight. Arlen Lopez, another Cuban. Yeah, Morel. I think Morel still needs a couple of fights, no doubt. He needs to fight some guys who can take him rounds. Julio gets absolutely sparked. Muslim Gadzi Magomedov nailed Julio's timing by round 3. Yeah, Julio won the fight. Yeah, but in a longer format. Yeah, you'd probably say it favors Muslim. Yeah. Are you serious? Scott Fitzgerald got done for rape now. Sad. Are you when the fuck did this happen? And that guy is, if that is true, he needs to be fucking locked up. Just have a look on Twitter. Okay, yeah, this is actually quite old. Preston boxer accused of rape, no longer holds a professional license. Okay. And he's got a court trial date as well. That is serious, man. That is serious. Yeah, exactly. Is what it is, though. You know, is what it is. Yeah, I never even bet on it, bro. I mean, the odds to me, like, they weren't good enough. Yeah, Jalolov is fighting tonight, by the way. Bakadir Jalolov, yeah, 6'7" southpaw heavyweight, Olympic gold medalist. Yeah, Uzbek moves really well, hits hard, decent skills. You know, especially from the outside. I do question his chin, I'll be honest, and his stamina, but again, we'll find that out in due course. But the guy he's fighting, Jack Mulawai, is actually a pretty decent gatekeeper. So yeah, that's a good little fight for him. Rank your British light heavyweights, please, bro. Such a strong division domestically, but can't see any of them beating Bivol or Beterbiev. Well, I agree with that. I don't think either guy beats Bivol or any one of those guys beats Bivol or Beterbiev. But if I had to rank those guys, Buatsi number 1, Yard number 2, Richards number 3, Arthur number 4, Ben Johnson number... No, I'd say Johnson number 4, Arthur number 5, Dan Aziz number 6. Yeah, he did gas, yeah, towards the end. Yeah, it was a good fight, though. Yeah, I think there's just more scope with him, though, because he's a lot younger. I think there's a lot more scope for him to, like, build a certain style, and I think he'll do. I think he'll do okay. Yeah, I never heard it, bro. I never even heard it. Well, there's that as well. But the British Boxing Board of Control is the British Boxing Board of Control are pretty, they are pretty stringent in that sort of thing. I heard Sonny Edwards is a rent boy for the Dubai lads. Porta potty, yeah. Yeah, Alvarez had a few fights, didn't he, where he was like labouring kind of thing. Yeah, so maybe Joe Cordina is similar. I know I think it was after his last fight, he got another bad hand injury, not the fight before Agawa. So yeah, maybe that's what it is. It was a beautiful shot though, wasn't it? It was a beautiful shot. Krasniki, I mean, he'll go rounds, but yeah, I was surprised by that Matthew Martinez. Yeah, the same guy who gave Joseph Parker a really tricky fight. He's a gatekeeper, but if you're KOing Kamil Sakalavsky, surely you should be fighting a Hammer kind of level opponent. Do you mean Jalalov? The guy he's fighting is actually decent. He beat Apti Davtayev, who was a Russian prospect, a big puncher. He went to Russia and knocked him out. So the guy's got a 10-2 record off the top of my head. And the fights he has lost, he's gone the distance. You know, went the distance with Frank Sanchez, I think. He's a durable guy. It's a good test. It's a good test. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, Hammer, I think, has gone full journeyman mode. And yeah, he's probably definitely more determined. Yeah, will actually come to win. I don't know what you're on about, Alex. Yeah, Davtayev or Daptayev, however you say his name, yeah. Big ups to DC Joe, salute. I'll be honest, Albanian boxer, I've got no fucking clue who either guy is. I'm assuming they're YouTubers, right? No idea who either guy is. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Duck. I think it's a good fight. I mean, listen, does he beat Christian Hammer? Potentially, maybe not. I mean, but they're at a similar level. I think we can agree there. I think we can agree there. Tom Stalker sells coke and heroin. That's why he's retired. That's why he retired. Daniel Trapahan groomed too many man. Yeah, too many man. Too many man. Yeah, he nailed him. He knocked him out late. I think it was like 8th or 9th round. So the kid is like, you know, the kid again. He's one of those guys, I guess, who like if you're not at a certain level, he'll expose you. So it's a good fight. Yeah, he looks good, man. He looks good, Janabek. I mean, he's got a long way to go before he gets to Golovkin status, but he looks very good to me. Yeah, Ricardo Sandoval is a guy I really like. I've said that on my channel before. I really like him, Sandoval. Damn good fighter. Love his style as well, Sandoval. He's very young. He's like 22, 23, but his style is so. I like the way he carries himself in the ring. He's very calm. He's very composed. Doesn't waste much. He can box on the outside. He can pressure. A good inside fighter. Lovely body puncher. The guy's really well rounded. And obviously, right now, we're getting super excited about Jesse Bam Rodriguez, and rightly so. He's fucking good. Damn good. But I tell you what, man, I'd love to see a fight between Ricardo Sandoval and Jesse Rodriguez. That would be amazing. That would be a great fight. That'd be crazy. I'd love to see that fight. I'd lean towards Jesse, don't get me wrong, but like Sandoval is good. He's good. I'm telling you, he's good. I wake up every day to watch my Dana Brona to brighten up my day. Fair play, man. Yeah, that fight feels like a lifetime ago now. It's crazy, man. Crazy. What we doing? What we doing? What we doing? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was seen as a bit of a prospect, Davtayev. Yeah, I think Pulev knocks out Chisora. It's possible still there, but I think it will go points. That's my initial instinct is points. Pulev. Have you heard Deontay Wilder's new song? I actually heard a teaser and it was decent actually. Also, what show is the gold medalist heavyweight on tonight? I might tune in. It's a Showbox card, so it'll be Showtime, I guess. But I've not heard his song. I've not heard Wilder's new song. I've seen Yakubi fight before, but I've not seen Simsri fight, so I wouldn't know. Can't lie. Sandoval slapped Sonny Edwards all over the place. I agree. I agree. Yeah, the Uzbek scene's decent. Yeah, the Uzbek scene is decent. And speaking of Uzbeks, I mean, Israel Madrimov is rematching Michel Soro next. I'm glad that's happening as well because that stoppage was bogus, man. That was bogus. Yeah, he is. He is going under the radar. Yeah. Sonny Edwards retweeted a tweet of mine the other day where I said to him he should be humble when Sandoval knocks him out. Yeah, exactly. The lower weight guys always deliver, man. There's less politics. That's what it seems like anyway. The guy in my profile pic beat Sandoval, Edwards, and Bam. Is that Junto? I can't even see, bro. Why am I excited for Dubois versus Bryan? It's got that freak show element to it. You know, it's a Don King card, so anything can happen. You know, expect the unexpected, I guess. But yeah, I get you. I get you. I think Dubois wins though quite comfortably, maybe 4 or 5 rounds. I mean, Ryan, I'll be if that fight happens, I'll be looking forward to it. I think Zapata is a really dangerous fight. Tricky southpaw counterpuncher with real power. He can mix it up as well. He can fight on. He can fight up close. He can he can fight with you as well. And given how Josh looked in his last fight, I'm telling you now, Zapata's better than Jack Catterall. He's better in every way. In every way, he's better. And I was saying Catterall wasn't as bad as people were making out before that Taylor fight. But yeah, Zapata is very dangerous. See, given the odds, I'm assuming Taylor's going to open up as favourite. I'll have a bit of Zapata. Not saying he'll necessarily win, but I think the odds will be really good. Pulev versus Chisora is such a weird rematch. Pulev actually looked good versus the legendary Forrest. Reckons he jabs Chisora's head off. Yeah, so do I. Chisora will be dangerous early on, but he's only got 3 or 4 rounds in him. Yeah, Broner dance when he got out of the car was funny. Wilder needs to rap battle Lawrence Okole. Music video is just Wilder twerking for 3 minutes. Not my proudest wank. Fuck you know. Yeah, I'm not into that scene. I'll be honest. I'm not into the female boxing scene, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah, Madrimov is okay, but I'm impressed with Gyasov and MJ. Gyasov's weird, man. I'm still not convinced by Gyasov. I'm not convinced by him. I don't trust that guy's chin. Yeah, because he's fighting Ronnie Rios next, and then it's Tapales. Yeah, so he's going to be booked up for the foreseeable future. A fight for peace and freedom. Zapata probably stops Josh Taylor. Poor against southpaws and not great resistance at the weight anymore. Yeah, it's dangerous, man. Listen, when the news came out that fight was being negotiated, I was shocked. I'll be honest, I was shocked. Yeah, it's facts. Yeah, Usyk in Saudi Arabia calling for peace and freedom. No, I'm telling you, man. I listen. Time will listen. I'm pretty convinced. I'm pretty convinced that Zapata is better than Jack Catterall. He's more authoritative with his shots. He's more active. He's more versatile. Like Jack Catterall is a sneaky counterpuncher, but he can't really mix it up. I mean, if you see on the inside against Josh Taylor, he was primarily holding. He wasn't fight. You know, he wasn't. He wasn't. Fighting back or trading on the inside or working Taylor on the inside. Zapata can do that. He can fight on the inside. He can counterpunch from a bit of range. I think he's a much better fighter. And again, I said that Catterall was a lot better than people gave him credit for going into that Taylor fight. And I said that Catterall would give him problems. So I'm not saying like Catterall is shit or anything. I'm not saying that. I just think Zepeda's a couple of levels above. I saw on Twitter that Mike Ashley might be linked to Kinahan. Also, Sports Direct sponsors IFL. There you go. Yeah, I've heard that. I've never done it, though. I've never made a Tinder profile when I've been abroad. Exactly. Zepeda can crack. Exactly, yeah. So, listen, in an ideal world, Josh Taylor makes that right and rematches Jack Catterall. I know people complain about Catterall's style and how he conducted himself in that fight, but honestly, like, it was controversial, wasn't it? I mean, Taylor exactly didn't cover himself in glory. It wasn't like he was fighting a clean fight either. So just go in there and avenge it. But I get that I get that can't happen because of the Mando situation. And yeah, like you said, Zepeda is better. I agree. So I'm not gonna complain about this fight. Zepeda's better. Like, do you think Jack Catterall would do as well against Ramirez as Zepeda did? I'm not convinced at all. Like some people felt Zepeda beat Ramirez, by the way. Zepeda's good, I'm telling you. Zepeda is good. I'd probably pick Tio as well. See, again, it's one of those things. I think people are probably going to overrate Catterall now of that one performance. Yeah, exactly. Just keep your head down and train. Don't fucking poke for hornet's nest. Just fucking get your head down and train. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter, bro. I saw that on Twitter. Tommy McCarthy fighting in Estonia tomorrow, last minute. Maybe sparring for Briedis. Yeah, Briedis has a fight coming up, so it's possible. Thoughts on Williamson Metcalf? Yeah, that's a good fight, bro. I'd like to see it. Metcalf's recently signed with what's his face? Matchroom. Yeah, you know that, Randy. Though we know the score. We know the score. What's Yoka going to do? He's got a lot of rebuilding to do. I mean, I'm not convinced that Virgil Hunter is the right man for the job for a start. I'm not convinced by Virgil at all, actually, to tell you the truth. I'd probably change trainer, try and get a heavyweight specialist for a start and go from there, He did, yeah, he did. And yeah, Jack Catterall does have a tricky style. I'm not saying if those two guys fought that like Zepeda blows him out. I'm not saying that it'll be competitive, but I would edge Zepeda in that fight. I would. But you can say the same thing about Jack Catterall. I mean, he looked ordinary against O'Hara Davis, for example. It's one of those. Do you know what, Doc? I really like that fight. That's the sort of fight Top Rank make. I like how they don't always throw those guys under the bus who lose a couple of fights. That's a really good fight. I respect both guys a lot. I like Comey. I like Pedraza. Both are stand-up guys. Comey being the puncher, Pedraza being the boxer. Pedraza's pretty tough, He's got a pretty good chin. I'd lean towards Pedraza on points. I agree. I'll give it a go next time I'm out abroad, Alex. Exactly, Marianne G. People need to be careful of that. I feel like with Kambosos, like a lot of it was that a lot of people didn't see his prior fights and I think it's the same for Jack Catterall as well. Now, that's how I feel. Maybe I'm wrong. Taylor takes him seriously and is much better in the rematch, and Catterall doesn't do as well as first time around. I understand demand for the rematch, but I don't think it would be as competitive. Yeah, exactly. I'd probably tend to agree. Catterall barely beat Davis, exactly. Fucking hell. Yeah, speaking of Bakole, man, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Arslanbek Makhmudov. That'd be a good fight. He's a bit of a clown, Briedis, isn't he? He's trying to fight Jake Paul. Yeah, I think he's always had dog though. I think he's a tough kid, Zepeda. Like, and if you think about it, think about his two losses, right? The first one being Terry Flanagan. In the second round, he dislocated his arm, and he couldn't continue at that point. You can't continue with one arm for that length of time. You know, that was what it was. It was a weird defeat, but it was what it was. And then he lost to Ramirez in a damn close fight. He's never really been truly, I guess, decisively beaten. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. Yeah, I think so as well. But it seems like Tony has that David Price vibes. And I actually think he's got decent skills, Tony. But, you know, and I felt he had beat Bacoli quite comfortably. But I always said, like in the amateurs, he showed a weak chin and he showed a vulnerability to pressure. And it was Bacoli who exposed that in the end. But even if he did vote Alex, like the mandate, like the WBC have mandated Zepeda, so it couldn't happen anyway. But there you go. So yeah, I mean, Bacole shared a certain video on social media a couple of years ago, expressing his outrage, basically. But yeah, he should not have shared it. Sorry, pardon me. Even the girls in Luton, pal, 35-year-old single mums are decent. Fuck off, man. I can't be dealing with that, man. I can't be dealing with that shit. Yeah, I've not got time for it, bro. I mean, you know, call out for these fights, fair enough, yeah, but don't make a fucking ass of yourself like that. It's just like have some like dignity. That you lose me there when you're pulling stunts like that. Like doing a Jake Paul fucking diss video, like a rap or something, then dressing up as Mario. It's a bit cringe, isn't it? Leave that shit to the YouTubers, man. I've been banned from Tinder for disorderly conduct. Any tips, lads? How the fuck did you get banned? What does that mean? Disorderly conduct. Conduct, sorry. How did he, what was he doing? Is the question I'd like to ask. But yeah, I think with sites like Tinder, I'm assuming it's like an IP ban. So you might be fucked. I'm not a tech guy, so I'm not, I'm fuck knows. I've only used Tinder a couple of times, so I mean, it was all right. It was all right. But nothing beats hunting in the wild, though, lads. I think that's a lost art these days. It's a lost art. Nothing beats hunting in the wild, you know? Because you feel like you've actually achieved something if you pull it off. Whereas with Tinder and like sites like Tinder, POF, that sort of thing, you're still getting what you want. But for me, it's also like it's also like the thrill of a chase, that sort of thing as well. And I think that is not as prominent when it comes to online dating, for me at least. Yeah, we were saying this earlier, Billy. I think it's a good opponent for Jalalov. Jack Mulalawi. Don't know how you say his name, but I've seen him fight. He knocked out Avti Davtayev. I forget his name, who was a Russian prospect who could punch a bit. So he's coming off a good win. He's a very durable guy as well. So it's a good little test. I don't know, laugh out loud. Guess I wasn't always behaving well. I guess so, man. I guess so. Let's have a look at this Dubois weigh-in then, Alex. Bentleg released a video of Dubois looking rattled. Okay. IFL TV. That fight is not actually... It's actually on at a decent time for us American... sorry, us British viewers. Look at Don King, man. Dubois looks in decent nick. He looks in decent nick. Dubois is always in pretty good shape, though, isn't he? He never looks out of shape to me. Let's have a look at this shit. Let's have a look at Trevor Bryan. Trevor Bryan looks like a fat mess, by the way. Mr. Titties. Oh, Dubois shit talking out of the way, and that's unusual. Kind of like pacing, like kind of swaying back and forth. Whether that's nerves or anger or what fuck knows. Yeah, he looks a bit animated, Dubois. He looks a bit animated. It's kind of I'm not used to seeing that. He probably did a Namia Khan. I started downloading these apps with COVID, bro. I get you, man. I get you. I never expose myself. Yeah, man. Anybody can go to Asda and get a steak. Spending weeks, months in the wild hunting is for real men, weathering all conditions and countless disappointments. Facts. And that's part of the fun as well, isn't it? You know, striking out or like chatting to a bitch, a woman, a female, a lady, and like this has happened to me a few times, where you think you're getting somewhere, and like end of a night, you think it's going to escalate. Oh, sorry, I've got a boyfriend. That triggers me beyond belief. I'd rather just strike out completely. A student night in Barnsley sounds ideal. Nah, I need to make it, bro. I need to make one, innit? Problem is, though, I think there's going to be a lot of fucking weirdos, mate, if I do. I would guess somebody like Marius Vac, somebody along those lines. My imagination of Dubois shit talking is just him dribbling down his bib. Fuck, you know. Nah, it's shit. It's absolutely shit, bro. It's garbage. Garbage. Yeah, Tinder was actually popping during COVID. So many bored girls, so many boring students. Yeah, facts. Use NordVPN. Yeah, I've got Surfshark. Yeah, a VPN might work to get past bans. Yeah, that's a good point. The undercard might be disappointing because of how bad it is, just like Brian's last fight against that crab fisherman. Yeah. Problem is, there's going to be a lot of fucking weirdos. That's a fair point. Yeah, facts. I just fucking. I don't know, man. I can't be bothered fucking like moderating it and all that shit. You know. Yeah, I know, right? I know. That is a distinct possibility because usually with these cartel guys, a lot of the time when they do an execution and they film it, they'll send it to like narco sites, like narco news sites. So it's possible that like one day in my inbox I'll get some grisly video. It's possible. Okay, Brian posted some joke about Dubois' sister. If anything would cause Dubois to show emotion, you'd think family would be it. Yeah, fair play to him, man. If that's the case. Oh, Michael Venn and Page having a bare knuckle fight this weekend. So is Jamie Cox. The thing is, though, I don't think there's many like videos to go with it. I'll have to check it out, Alex. I'd have to check it out. Yeah, the psycho chicks are cool, man. I'm not going to lie to you. The psycho chicks are cool. The best type of chicks, no doubt. Especially when you're a young man, when you got energy to deal with them. I do like a psycho now and again. They're the best time, aren't they? The psychos. The Dubois family is real. Apparently, his younger brother, 15 years. Sorry. The Dubois family is real. Apparently, his younger brother, 15 years old, is class. Interesting. He might be the worst of the lot, Daniel. You never know. You never know. But we'll see how he gets on tomorrow. We'll see how he gets on. I think he should win comfortably, to be honest. I don't rate Thingy-Majiggy at all. Trevor Bryan. Triple D spot. Jamie Cox is fighting bare knuckle. Count me in. Yeah, I was never a big fan of Jamie Cox. I remember when not so long after I started uploading, or started like doing it seriously. I did a video about George Groves and Jamie Cox, like a little fucking preview, and I was basically saying that Jamie Cox is he's going to get destroyed. Basically, he's too hot-headed. He's got that bully boy mentality, that etc. etc. His discipline is poor, and he'll fold. And his trainer came on my channel and started giving it the big one as well, like how he wanted to meet me and shit. And then lo and behold, he gets fucking splattered. I can imagine Del with a few emo chicks, Miranda name vibes. Emo chicks to me, man. I mean, some are all right, but like the majority I find repulsive. I'm not gonna lie to you, but the ones that are fine are fine. You know what I mean? Discord full of cartel housewives. That'd all be fire and bored. Imagine the great time you'd have with all of the nudes before you get fed some mad cunts. Yeah, exactly. Mad cunts dog. Yeah. I love how his trainer is exactly the same. Yeah, and I guess that's where it comes from. I think that's what I replied to his trainer with as well, because he was talking shit, and I said, I guess I know where Jamie Cox's ill discipline comes from, and he was triggered. He was triggered. I don't know whether I still have a video up. Don't know whether I still have a video up. Let me have a look. Have a look. Do I still have it up? I think I do, Where is this dude? It's not there anymore. Maybe got rid of his fucking... Hang on, let me check this video. I can't find his comments. He must have deleted his fucking account. Yeah, Jamie Cox's manager wasn't a prick. Yeah, trainer. Yeah, trainer. Psyduck from Pokemon. Average Discord modest and fat bloke who talks to kids. Yeah, honestly, I use Discord but I don't use it. I'm not really. I'm a part of like various groups, but in regards to boxing, but I don't really talk that much anymore. But I'll check in now and again. Yeah, Bellends. Yeah, down in Somerset. Yeah, I don't think he hangs around with Billy Joe. I don't think he hangs around with Billy Joe. But the guy's a prick though. Anyway, the guy's a prick. Like he got done for beating his missus up as well. The guy's a prick. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm fucking starving. So, yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Enjoy the boxing. There's a few fights to look forward to. But yeah, man, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Stay safe. All of that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next upload. Expect at least one post-fight review tomorrow. Dubois and what's his face? Dubois and Trevor Bryan. But yeah, peace, guys.